those with the broadest shoulders should bear their fair share of the burden, Mr. Gauke?
Well, I agree with that, and indeed, under this government, the wealthiest are paying a greater share of income tax than they've ever done before. And we're bringing in a whole host of measures to ensure that the wealthiest pay the most. But the reality is that what we've heard from Ed Balls today is the same old Labour. Their reaction to almost every economic problem is more borrowing and more taxes, and today is no change from that. If Labour want to deliver a reduced deficit, given their opposition to any of the spending cuts that we're putting in place, then I'm afraid they're just going to have to put up taxes on everyone and not just the top earners.
They also point out that the figures that your party would suggest that the tax take went down are erroneous, because in fact all people did was withhold their bonuses or push things into following years. I mean, do you accept that if run properly and over a period of time, the 50p tax rate will bring in the money that they think it will?
No, I don't. The analysis that was done by HMRC and supported by the Office of Budget Responsibility was not just looking at short-term changes, people shifting income from one year to another, but over the long term. Indeed, over the long term, the analysis showed that the 50p rate would raise little, if anything. The point here, as the CBI has already made, is that this is a policy that would threaten jobs and investment in the UK. We need a long-term economic plan. We need to ensure that the UK is productive. We need to ensure that we've got investment in the UK, and we need to make sure that our deficit comes down. And we haven't heard anything about that really from Ed Balls today. I'm afraid it's much the same. It's returned to the traditional Labour positions, and no real recognition that we were borrowing too much money before the Great Recession. There was no long-term plan from Labour as to how we dealt with that, and Labour have opposed every measure that we've taken to reduce the deficit here, and there isn't a serious policy announced by Ed Balls today to help us reduce the deficit further.